Hello, everyone, and welcome to GeoCortex AI's official YouTube channel. In our last video, we introduced you to GIS, and today we will talk about GIS data types. So without further ado, let's get started.
Have you ever opened a map and noticed that sometimes it looks like a real photograph of Earth, and other times it turns into clean lines, roads, and boundaries? Or how weather apps show temperature as smooth, flowing colors, while navigation apps show sharp, precise routes you can follow. Same world, completely different representations. These are not just visual differences. They are actually two completely different types of GIS data. And that difference is what allows GIS to power everything from maps to weather prediction to real-time navigation. In this video, we're going to break it down step by step in the simplest way possible, using real-world examples you already use every single day. What is data in GIS? Let's start with a simple question. What exactly is data in GIS? At its core, data is just information about the real world. But GIS does something special with that information. It splits it into two parts. First, spatial data. This tells us where something is. And second, attribute data. This tells us what that thing is. Think of it like this. You're not just placing something on a map, you're giving it meaning. Example, imagine a hospital. On the map, it appears as a single location. That's spatial data. But everything you actually care about, the name, the number of beds, the services it offers, that's attribute data. And this combination, location plus information, is what makes GIS so powerful. Real-world example. Now think about the last time you searched for a restaurant. On a map, that little pin you see, that's spatial data. But the ratings, reviews, menu, opening hours, that's attribute data. GIS doesn't just show you where things are, it helps you understand what they are. And that's what turns maps into decision-making tools. Two main GIS data types. In GIS, no matter how complex the system is, all data is stored using just two models: raster, vector. Think of this as two completely different ways of seeing the world. Two different lenses. One sees everything as pixels, the other sees everything as shapes. Let's break that down. Raster represents the world as a grid, thousands or even millions of tiny pixels. Each pixel holds a value. Vector takes a completely different approach. It represents the world using coordinates, precise points, connected lines, and defined shapes. So the difference is simple. Raster is best for continuous data, things that change smoothly, like temperature, elevation, or imagery. And vector is best for discrete objects, things with clear boundaries, like roads, buildings, and cities. Real-world examples. When you look at a satellite image, you're looking at raster data. When you switch to a road map with clean lines and labels, that's vector data. Same world, two completely different ways of representing it. Raster data model. Let's start with raster data. Raster sees the world as a grid. Imagine placing a giant sheet of tiny squares over the entire Earth. Each square stores a value. The world becomes a grid, and every single pixel becomes data. Now, here's the important part. Raster doesn't store objects like roads or buildings. It stores measurements. Satellite imagery. Every pixel stores a color value. Millions of pixels together create a real image of Earth. Temperature map. Each cell stores temperature. When combined, it creates smooth color patterns, showing how temperature changes across space. Elevation, DEM. Each pixel stores height. This is how GIS understands terrain, where land is high, where it is low, used in flood prediction and terrain modeling. Raster is perfect for things that change continuously,
like temperature, rainfall, elevation. Things that don't have clear boundaries. Raster limitations. But raster comes with trade-offs. Problem 1. Large file sizes. The more detail you want, the more pixels you need, and more pixels means more data. For example, a high-resolution satellite image of a city can easily be several gigabytes. Problem 2. Limited attributes. In raster, each cell can store only a simple value, but attaching detailed information becomes difficult. Problem 3. No topology. Raster cells don't understand relationships. They don't know what they are connected to or how they relate to nearby cells. They just exist, side by side. So raster is powerful. It can represent the real world in incredible detail, but it's not always efficient, and it's not always smart.
Vector data model. Now, let's shift perspective. Instead of seeing the world as pixels, what if we describe it using exact shapes? That's vector data. Vector doesn't divide the world into grids. It defines it using coordinates. Key idea. The real world becomes shapes, and those shapes are built using coordinates. Every feature on a map is stored as a set of precise points in space. And when those points connect, they form meaningful structures. Examples. A road becomes a line. A building becomes a polygon. A city becomes a point. This is what makes vector data so powerful. It's not just visual, it's precise, lightweight, and designed for real-world interaction. Vector geometry types. With just 3 simple building blocks, GIS can represent almost everything you see on a map: points, lines, and polygons. Points. Points represent exact locations. Single positions in space, defined by coordinates. Examples. Cities, restaurants, your live GPS location. Lines. Lines represent connections. They are created by linking multiple points together. Examples. Roads, rivers, pipelines. Polygons. Polygons represent areas, closed shapes that define boundaries. Examples. Countries, land parcels, lakes. And that's the beauty of vector data. With just these 3 shapes, GIS can model an entire world with accuracy and structure. Attribute data in GIS. But vector data is not just shapes. A line on a map is not just a line. A point is not just a dot. Because without information, these shapes are meaningless. Every feature in GIS carries something extra, data attached to it. These are called attributes. Think of it like this. The shape tells you where something is, but attributes tell you what that thing actually is. Example. Imagine a road on a map. The line itself is the geometry. But everything you care about, the road name, the speed limit, the type of road, all of that lives in the attribute data. Behind every map you see, there is an invisible table. Rows represent features, and columns represent properties. So when you click on a road and details pop up, that information is not random. It's coming from attribute data. Without attributes, GIS would just be drawings. With attributes, it becomes information. This is how GIS turns simple shapes into meaningful, usable data. Now, we step into one of the most powerful ideas in GIS, topology. At first, it sounds technical, but it answers a very simple question. Do things on the map behave like they do in the real world? Topology is all about relationships between features, not just where things are, but how they connect, touch, or interact. Let's make this real. Imagine a road network. If 2 roads meet in real life, they must connect on the map. Otherwise, a navigation system might think there's no route. That's a topology error. Now think about land parcels. different properties, side by side. In reality, they don't overlap, and they don't leave empty gaps between them. But without topology rules, a GIS map can accidentally create overlaps or tiny invisible gaps. This is where topology becomes critical. It enforces rules like roads must connect, polygons must not overlap, boundaries must align perfectly. Without topology, a map is just shapes. With topology, a map becomes intelligent. This is what allows GIS to find routes, validate land ownership, and model real-world systems accurately. Topology is not just about drawing correctly. It's about making sure your map thinks correctly.
Real-world systems. All these concepts we've learned, they're not just theory. They're powering the systems you use every single day. Example 1. Navigation systems. When you open a map like Google Maps, you see clean roads, intersections, routes. Those roads are vector data, precise, connected, structured. But what about traffic? The red, orange, green lines, that's dynamic data layered on top. Vector gives the structure, real-time data brings it to life. Example 2. Ride-hailing systems. When you book a ride using Uber Technologies, Inc., a complex system activates instantly. Roads are modeled as networks. Every intersection is a node. Every road is a connection. GIS uses network analysis to calculate the fastest route in real time. This is not just mapping. This is decision-making at scale. Example 3. Disaster mapping. Now, imagine a flood. Water spreading across an entire region. That's captured using raster data, showing continuous change. But rescue teams, roads, buildings, shelters, that's all vector. Raster shows the impact. Vector shows the response. And together, they help save lives. GIS in practice. Now let's step out of theory and see how these data types actually work together in the real world. Because in reality, GIS never uses just raster or just vector. It uses both at the same time. Example 1, agriculture. Farmers use satellite imagery. That's raster data, showing crop health across entire fields. But field boundaries and irrigation lines, those are vector. Raster shows what's happening. Vector shows where action needs to be taken. Example 2, urban planning. City planners analyze population density maps. That's raster. But roads, buildings, zoning areas, that's vector. Raster helps understand patterns. Vector helps design decisions. Example 3, disaster management. During floods, raster maps show water spread in real time. But rescue routes, shelters, infrastructure, all vector. This combination can literally save lives. Example 4, navigation systems. When you use a map for directions, roads are vector, precise and connected. But traffic data, congestion heat maps, that's raster. One gives structure, the other gives real-time conditions. This is the real power of GIS. Not raster versus vector, but how they work together. All right, now let us recap what we learned today. Let's bring it all together. GIS stores data in two ways, raster and vector. Raster is continuous, images, temperature, elevation. Vector is discrete, roads, buildings, boundaries. Vector uses points, lines, polygons. Attributes add meaning. Topology adds intelligence. In the next video, we'll go deeper into the topics of geographic information systems. If you actually want to learn GIS tools step by step and build real-world projects, I have designed a complete practical course that takes you from concepts to real implementation on my channel. You will find all the links below. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with like-minded people. Also, comment down below if you have a video request. We'll see you in the next one.